Most high performers don't struggle because they lack discipline, intelligence, or motivation. They struggle because their mind keeps running the same loops, the same self-doubt, the same overthinking, the same reactions, even when they know better. That's where cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, actually comes in. Not as a fix your thinking mindset hack, but as a way to understand how your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are constantly training each other, either toward clarity or toward burnout. High performers don't fail because they can't think clearly. They fail because under pressure, their brain defaults to old patterns that feel familiar, not effective. CBT gives you the tools to slow that loop down, examine it, and deliberately retrain it so you respond instead of react when it matters most. In this episode, we're breaking down what CBT really is, why it works, and how high performers use it to sharpen decision making, regulate emotion, and perform consistently without constantly fighting their own mind. Quick note before we dive in, this podcast is for education and performance growth. It's not a replacement for therapy or medical treatment. If there is something you need, make sure you go and get it. If you ever felt like you understand what to do, but something in your head keeps getting in the way, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. First off, what is CBT? Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a structured, short-term form of talk therapy that focuses on the connection between your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Unlike therapies that delve deeply into childhood or the past, CBT is primarily goal-oriented and focuses on solving current problems right now in your life. CBT is based on the principle that psychological problems are often maintained by unhelpful patterns of thinking and learned patterns of behavior. CBT teaches that how you perceive a situation, the thought, influences how you feel, the emotion, and further how you act, the behavior. For example, if you think I'm going to fail this task, you may feel anxious and then avoid the task entirely, which reinforces the initial negative thought. CBT therapists help you identify cognitive distortions, which are irrational thoughts like catastrophizing or assuming the worst, or just overgeneralizing, and it replaces them with more realistic, balanced perspectives to help you succeed. You learn to change the actions that keep you stuck, such as facing fear gradually, like exposure therapy, or scheduling positive activities to combat depression, like behavioral activation. There are some key features to CBT to be aware of. It is usually structured and time limited. A typical course lasts between 5 to 20 weekly sessions on average. It's usually collaborative, so you and your therapist works as a team to set goals and track progress. Homework driven is a main aspect of the work. You are often given assignments between sessions, such as keeping a thought journal or practicing new skills in real-life situations to help you become your own therapist and figure out how to do these things in the moment. You're almost practicing what we're talking about in sessions. And then it's evidence-based. It is the most extensively researched form of psychotherapy, and it is often considered a first-line treatment by major health organizations. So there's a lot backing up this technique. It's a great technique. I use it in a lot of ways in our own work. I just use it in combination with other things as well, but it is great all by itself. There are some common uses of CBT. It is highly effective for a wide range of conditions, such as mental health issues like depression, anxiety disorders like OCD, PTSD, social phobia, eating disorders, and even substance abuse. It can also help with physical conditions like insomnia, chronic pain, migraines, and managing symptoms of menopause or long-term illnesses. And life challenges too. It can help with relationship conflicts, grief work stress, and low self-esteem. So CBT is a very powerful technique that works for a lot of people. It's usually pretty focused on whatever you have going on in the moment currently. It doesn't dive deep into the past like other techniques do. There's pros and cons to that in a bunch of different ways all by itself. So now let's talk about why smart, disciplined people still self-sabotage under pressure. Smart, disciplined people self-sabotage under pressure due to underlying fears like failure, success, or even exposure. Imposter syndrome is a big one. We have deep-seated beliefs about unworthiness, feeling like we are not good enough for this. We have perfectionism or even childhood conditioning that all get in the way as well. They all trigger old coping mechanisms that override logic, leading to procrastination, avoidance, or self-destructive acts for perceived short-term comfort or self-protection, despite us knowing better. This is something that happens all the time, and then we beat ourselves up about it because it is so different than logic. It is all emotion-based. It's based on things in the past. So it's very common to come out of these things like, why did I do that? And we just kind of beat ourselves up about it, thinking that it's our fault and we need to punish ourselves for it so that we don't do it again. And logically that makes sense, except this isn't about logic. That's why we have to focus on the emotions of it. Their high intelligence of these high performers can even become a trap, making them overthink or rely on flawed mental shortcuts when stressed out. And there's psychological roots of these things, diving deeper into the couple of things we brought up. The fear of success or failure. Success often brings responsibility, change, and exposure, which can be scary, while failure threatens self-esteem, so sabotage protects the ego. Sometimes we fear success because we're afraid of being put under more scrutiny or more light, like more people can see us. And I've faced that myself, putting some of my things out a little more publicly lately. And it's scary, it is, but it is something that is holding you back from success. It is not helping you, it's not protecting you. Because whatever does come out of putting your things out there publicly, you can handle it. You just have to do it. Another one is imposter syndrome. We had a whole episode on this, so if you want to dive deeper into imposter syndrome, if this is ringing any bells, go back and check that one out in the catalog. Imposter syndrome is the fear of being exposed as a fraud, which leads to undermining achievements to confirm internal doubts. Like we're almost afraid that people are going to see through us like we're pretending or that we're not actually as valuable as we're showing the world. This can sometimes come from an unworthiness or a low self-esteem.